Hello and welcome to your Sacral Chakra balancing series. This will be about 4 to 5 movements, not a very long yoga series, something that you can implement into your morning or evening practices to help to open up your sacral chakra, which is your second chakra located in your womb space or just about 2 fingers below your belly button in your hip region and lower back region. So we're going to be focusing on moves that either help to open up our hip flexors and or elongate and provide support for our lower back, because there is a connective muscle that kind of resides about 17 layers deep into our tissues in our hips to the inside and just below our hip joints, called the psoas muscle, and that muscle runs all the way up to our lower back. So oftentimes when our hips are tight, and that, can correlate to some fear, some lack of groundedness, suppressed emotions, things like that. When our hips are tight, then that psoas muscle also kind of runs to our lower back, and then we'll experience some lower back pain as well. So if you're experiencing discomfort in your hip region, lower back pain, maybe you're having some reproductive or urinary tract issues, if there is some issues in your intimacy, your sexuality, maybe finances are a problem, other things like emotional suppression, repression, oppression, just not feeling your emotions, pushing them down, pushing them away, totally forgetting about them, those kinds of things, then those are all kind of signals that your sacral chakra, or your energy center of your emotions and your sexuality and your creative expression and your financial abundance, that center is probably imbalanced due to stress in your mental, emotional, or physical bodies. And so this yoga practice, along with some other things like breathwork techniques and mantras and affirmations and journaling prompts, these are all going to be very helpful tools in helping you to bring balance back into your sacral chakra so that you can feel emotionally balanced. You can have creative and sexual expression. You can attract abundance into your life, whether that looks like financial wealth or another form of wealth. So let's go ahead and get started with your sacral chakra yoga balancing series. We're actually going to start out in an easy seated position, or a bound angle pose. So you'll step your soles of your feet together, and you can use your hands interlaced around your toes. Let me scoot back so you can see that. And then you can use your elbows to press down your knees, opening into your hip region. Now from here, instead of taking a rounded back, you're actually going to lengthen through the crown of your head. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward as you press your hips open using your elbows. And stay here for a few rounds of breath. Focus on lengthening your exhale longer than your inhale. I like to take a 2-4 breath ratio where I inhale for 2, in through my nose, lightly, softly down into my lower belly, and then I exhale for 4 out through my nose, or you can do rounded lips. Let your breath be smooth, circular, and connection. And with every exhale, allow yourself to soften into this posture. You may find that as you move on with your exhales, you can actually hinge forward just a touch more, and you can open your hips just a touch wider. You find your edge without pushing to the point of pain, but allowing for slight discomfort as you expand and open and stretch these spots in your body. 2 more rounds of breath here. In for 2, out for 4. Soften and relax on the exhale. And then close your knees like a book. Extend your legs forward. Forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips forward. You may place your hands on the top of your shins, at your ankles. Maybe you have the reach to wrap them around your toes. If not, then find yourself either a yoga strap, or you can find even like a bathrobe, the strap of the bathrobe, along maybe a king-size pillowcase, some kind of rope, and you can wrap that around the soles of your feet and use that to help reach. Give yourself a little bit more reach as you work and fold forward into this posture. But if you find that you're a little bit hyper flexible and you need more depth, then you can place a yoga block or a book maybe even a sturdy pillow in front of the soles of your feet, and then use that to extend your reach forward. So wherever you are, shins, ankles, soles of feet, strap, or additional depth, find your forward fold and go back to that 2-4 breath. And if you'd like, you can start to extend your breath even longer. Once you've found your reach, let your head, neck, and shoulders hang heavy. And with every exhale, fold forward a touch more. So inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge forward, find more depth. Three more rounds of breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, rise, and then exhale, find a wide-legged forward fold. So this is a variation of a forward fold where you're going to open your legs out wide like a V, and then rotate your toes to face up. So we're working on external hip rotation, and you can kind of play around with this right now by rolling your toes in and then rolling them out. They may want to naturally fall out, but rotate your toes so they're facing up towards the ceiling. And then pull your toes back towards your shin. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Again, you may just want to plant your hands to the mat. You may want to put blocks or a pillow underneath your hands to bring the ground closer to you. Or you may be able to fold forward all the way and plant your forearms or extend your arms forward. Let me scoot back so you can see my full expression of this posture while I adjust my mat. So use your props as needed to bring the ground closer to you, or find your deepest expression. 4 rounds of breath here. Again, inhale for 2, lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale 4 or longer through your nose or through rounded lips as you hinge at your hips and deepen your expression. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. 3 more rounds of breath here. Light, soft, quiet breath. Make your inhales and exhales smooth, circular, and connected. Inhaling in a rhythm. There's no jar, there's no space in between, there's no force, there's no urgency. This is just a very cyclical, circular way of breathing, focusing on extending your exhale to support your rest and digest nervous system. Inhale, rise, and then walk your feet together. Make your way to a standing position. And then separate your feet wide again, goddess pose. So you're going to separate your feet wider than hip width distance. Bend into your knees. Make sure your knees are stacked directly over your ankles. And then send your arms either into a cactus pose or straight overhead, or hands at heart center. You can play around with the hand expression here if you'd like. Sink your hips down, and then roll your pelvic floor forward. Hold in this space, and then go back to your 2-4 breath. And I invite you to hold here until you start to feel a little bit of a tremor. If you need a little bit more, then you can start to lift one ankle or one heel off the mat, then the other, perhaps both at the same time. As you sink lower, pull your belly button in, stack your shoulders over your hips. And if you'd like to add any extra, you can take a bind behind your back to open more into your pec muscles. If you're having tight shoulders and neck, you could actually even take a side stretch. So the bottom part, your goddess pose leg, stays the same, but you can add in something on the upper body to start stretching out your shoulders and your pec muscles. Because if you're like most people I know, you're holding tension all up in your neck and your shoulders. One more round of breath here. Sink lower. Beautiful. Inhale, goddess pose. Exhale, heel toe your feet together. Inhale, palms touch, look up, mountain pose. Out of back bend, press your hips forward, send your gaze back. Inhale, mountain pose, return to center. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana. And that completes your brief Sacral Chakra yoga sequence. Have a beautiful day.